Hey everyone, welcome back to Sports Tea. As you can see from the lineup, we're going to discuss the Lakers and JJ Reddicks specifically, his grade as a coach. We'll get into Bronny James and his debut in the G League and some interesting parameters surrounding the assignment with the South Bay Lakers. We'll also discuss Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks. And lastly, we'll talk about the Warriors and how they have been a better team without Clay in the first 11 games of the season. So, before we talk about all of that, please like and share the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. How's everybody doing tonight? Hey, Chirac, David, nice to see you guys. Horizon Vibes, Jeffrey, Man Down Sports. Shout out to Man Down, Posh King, Beethoven. So nice to see you guys. Thank you for spending some time with me tonight. I know it's late for a lot of you guys, and it's also a football night. So I just want to shout you guys out for being here with me. Alexander X, thank you so much for coming through. Julius, thank you. Oh my gosh, I really missed you guys. I just want to say that seriously. I was a little under the weather this week, but I'm really glad to be back. So yeah, I mean, before we get into things, I also just want to take a moment to shout out the lovely moderators that I have in the building tonight. Thank you all for holding me down in the chat. Shout out to Man Down Sports as well. It was really great to get together in person to record last week in studio. It was such an amazing experience. So I just want to shout out Man Down Sports and Mel. Thank you for being here tonight with us as well. Okay, so we'll get started. Our first topic of the night is the Lakers and specifically JJ Reddicks. So I want to talk about the job that he's done since he started. Just like most people who are in the pocket of Clutch, or at least under the protection of Clutch Sports, JJ Reddicks, he's been highly praised, right? Highly praised, I would say, overhyped and overrated. So we're talking about a guy that coached fourth graders before coaching NBA players. Isn't that pretty crazy? And I do want to say that it does take a special skill set to work with children. And I think it takes a good deal of understanding of how to talk to them, figuring out how to motivate them. And let's not get started on the communication with the parents, right? So it's not easy to be a coach of children and fourth graders, but, yes, JJ was a fourth grade coach prior to his NBA coaching assignment, and he's being called the smartest man in the NBA. Paul George, he's raved about JJ Reddicks on his podcast as a coach because of how he spoke as an analyst on TV. I thought that was pretty stupid and ridiculous sounding, but Paul George actually said this, and he sounds like he's lying through his teeth, like this is the narrative that the media and current players need to deliver on. So listen up. He does really say these things. Let's listen to what Paul George has to say.
Coach for the franchise.
I think his start has been very impressive. I think he's like that team has bought into him and they trust him and they believe in him. And I think that's one of the biggest things, especially when you have a mega star like LeBron and Anthony Davis on your side and those guys buy into you from jump. It says a lot about his presence there. I saw one of the videos of them doing like guards versus bigs.
That was
and
big.
He matches up with Jackson Hayes. Like that's culture right there, bro. That's team bonding and that's culture when your head coach is in the trenches and is fighting with you guys. Literally, when they matched up, they were going at it, and he gets the stop and the whole team, ignites. I love to see it. I think, again, he's awesome as a communicator. And he's a natural born leader. I think he's a Duke guy, so he's a hard worker. He's a team guy. And he knows the benefits from both of those, pillars. So I'm loving it. Funny thing is I talked with JJ before him taking that job. We were in Dallas for games 3 and 4, and we chopped it up a little bit. And me knowing that it was, you know, at that time he wasn't signed to the Lakers, but it was around the decision time. And, you know, I got a chance to just tell him, you know, good luck. I'm rooting for you. And, you know, basically putting my belief that he'll do a great job. You know, just the conversation we had, like I was bought in with his basketball knowledge and just the way he analyzes the game on, you know, TV, from him going toe to toe with Stephen A on certain topics and saying like, listen, you guys haven't done this. Like, he's very good at confrontation, and you need a strong coach that's built for confrontation. So he's been very impressive, and I think he's going to make for a great coach for the Lakers.
Oh, man. If I could have just let this clip continue, you would have heard his cohort say, yeah, and I had a conversation with him too. Like, it's just this privilege to speak to a guy who's only coached fourth graders and never won anything in the NBA. Go figure, right? I mean, it's pretty hilarious to me. I've never heard someone say that any coach was good because of how he heard him analyze the game on TV. LOL. Why does Paul George have a podcast again? I thought that he was the missing piece that the 76ers needed. What happened to that? Yeah, right? I mean, this is a serial loser congratulating another serial loser in JJ Reddicks, who has never won anything. Mind you, this episode of his show was just 8 days ago after JJ led the Lakers to a string of road losses. The Lakers were able to prove that they couldn't win on the road without major free throw disparities and help from the NBA officials. I mean, last week during the Lakers road trip, they played the Grizzlies, and D'Angelo Russell, he performed poorly. He had 2 defenders on him. He shook one and stepped back for a corner 3, and it was blocked while he had open teammates available to drive or shoot wide open shots. JJ Reddicks spoke on this frustration in that game. He was seen slamming his chair after that play. I wanted to play that video for you guys. It was just 16 seconds long, but I was scared that it would get blocked. But let's hear what JJ had to say in reference to how upset he was during this game.
JJ, you were candid about the reason why you didn't play DLO that much in the second half last game, and the clips that preceded you pulling him out, a couple of mistakes on his part, kind of gone viral as your reaction as well. Have you had to talk to him about that second half or about those clips, and sort of how did that conversation go, if so?
Yeah, to be clear, my younger staff, not Bob Byer, but some of the younger staff members brought that to my attention this morning. I will say, first of all, that, you know, basketball is to me is an emotional game. I'm a competitive person. I'm a passionate person. Sometimes you lose for a brief period of time. You lose control of that emotion. It's not the first time that it's happened. I'll be honest with you. Maybe it's the first time that something like that was over the over Twitter, but it's going to happen again. It may happen 2 hours from now. That's just the reality. I think about myself as a player, now as a coach. Certainly when I, watched NBA games and analyzed NBA games, I'm not a zombie. That's what we kind of refer to as like non-passionate, non-competitive, non-expressive people. I'm not a zombie. So I don't like seeing myself in that light. When I watched the video, I actually forgot that it had happened. I want to be clear about something, and DLO and I talked about this today. That was not like directed at him. Yes, it came after I think a shot in the corner that he took, if that's right. There was 25 plays that preceded that from a number of different players. And you're 1-3 on a road trip, and you get to a point where you feel like you're in a ball game on the road, and a play like that happens, and you let out some emotion, but it was not directed at DLO. It was directed more at the series of plays for 2.5 quarters that had preceded that, not DLO's shot.
JJ, kind of following up on that, got a couple for you. You said you made sure to tell D'Lo it wasn't directed at him. Just what was, I guess, the feedback from him during the conversation where you guys talked about maybe that?
D'Lo and I are good. Like he's great. He's been a professional. Like I've asked him to, he's a pick and roll player, and he's playing in an offense that doesn't feature a lot of drag pick and rolls and high ball screens. And he's been super professional. He's been super coachable. Him and I established a baseline level of our relationship this summer. We're good.
Okay. So as Mel from Man Down Sports like to say, shout out to Mel, he gives a big word salad. Okay. And we all know that he was pissed at D'Lo. It was very obvious. You don't just start slamming a chair and run to take D'Angelo Russell out of the game and bench him because 25 other plays happened. So you just decided to take it out on him. Which one is it? Because either way, it's bad coaching. Either way, it looks like you're targeting one player on the team when he's not the only problem on the Lakers. I find it hilarious that you are clearly lying and you're clearly full of shit, JJ Reddick. So I thought that was really interesting. He's literally slamming his chair as soon as he misses his shot. And I mean, it was a bad play. He's dribbling the ball, trying to shake off two defenders when there's open team members that he could have passed to. So I get the frustration, but just the way that he's acting, and he's, to me, it wasn't just frustration about what D'Angelo Russell did, because if that were the case, why aren't you getting upset when, Bronny's out there shooting bricks and you're giving him playing time? Why aren't you getting upset when LeBron is turning the ball over in the fourth quarter for no reason? Why aren't you getting upset when LeBron is not playing defense and he's supposed to be the leader of your team? Why aren't you getting, all upset about these other guys that you can't do that with? So that's why I don't respect what JJ Reddicks said, and I don't believe him. 25 other plays that happened, but you're slamming the chair when this one happens. That doesn't make any sense, right? So he's lying. That's obvious. I don't know, and I won't try to speak to the relationship that he has with D'Angelo Russell, because clearly JJ Reddicks is willing to throw the rock, and hide his hand. So that's what he's willing to do. So who knows, how he explained it away to D'Angelo Russell to get him to be compliant during practice and or games. But we've also seen what certain players of certain complexions can do on teams and how those players respond. JJ Reddicks getting all red. He's getting upset. God forbid Darvin Ham was acting anything less than professional, or even just simply directing the team. These players, they didn't want to listen to Darvin Ham, who was also a former player. He was an NBA player too. He was also an assistant coach who had already won. So it's really interesting to me that you're willing to take disrespect and showboating and grandstanding from a certain kind of coach with a certain kind of complexion. So very interesting, right? But there's more compliments for JJ Reddicks. Danny Green, a former NBA player turned analyst, he happens to love JJ Reddicks' energy of calling out players and quote unquote setting a standard. So I want you all to hear this and then we'll react.
It's just 8 games into JJ's tenure as head coach. The Lakers have dropped 4 of their last 5. What do you make of JJ Reddicks calling out his players?
I said earlier, I love it, man.
Okay.
He's setting a standard.
Sure.
Not only is he bringing the most or the best out of D'Lo because he know how important he is to the group. D'Lo's a special player, and they're going to need him to win. And when he's at his best and playing his best basketball, they're a really good team and tough team to stop. So not only is he challenging one of his best players, when we're younger, they say if they stop yelling at you, you should worry.
Sure.
So, D'Lo should take it in good stride. But not only is he getting on him and trying to get him to play best, but he's setting a standard for everybody. He's trying to change the atmosphere, trying to change just the motive of everybody. And, I've had that plenty of times in my career throughout the years, but this is great. I love what he's doing.
The beautiful thing.
So I agree with Danny Green in spirit. Calling people out is great. Do it. Call a spade, right? Keep it real. I'm all about it. I think most people connect to a coach or anyone in leadership that's genuine and authentic. I really focus on being one with who I am at home and at work. Those two people don't need to be different unless your home life is somehow not appropriate for work, right? But one of the biggest things you have to be is consistent. So in the 11 games that the Lakers have played, I've only heard JJ Reddicks call out D'Angelo Russell specifically, or make general call outs with no names being attached. And if I'm wrong, shout it out in the chat. You know, if I might have missed it, go right on ahead. But it just feels like he had the smoke for DLO and no one else. And, you know, I have to say, is DLO the only one that didn't make the best play in that game against the Grizzlies? Is he the reason why they almost got blown off the floor? They lost the game, but is he the reason? Is D'Angelo Russell the only one that took a bad shot or didn't play with enough effort? He praised LeBron James, calling him 40, and I call him 80 years old. I call him a million years old, but he's not 40 yet, and he doesn't play with the most effort. He doesn't even defend. So how is that really leading a team? Why are you congratulating anyone in a loss? We need to do better. Not only do players need participation trophies, but so do the coaches now. They need to be congratulated every single game. Why is that necessary? JJ Reddicks hasn't won the in-season tournament yet, or taken the team to the Western Conference Finals, or the NBA Finals like Darvin Ham and Frank Vogel. The Lakers, what are they, the 6th seed? And based on what I've seen with them playing on the road, I have concerns. They're 6-0 at home. That's wonderful so far, right? Teams haven't figured out how to beat the refs yet. The media is saying how much the players love JJ Reddicks and they want to play for him. But to me, targeting one player and making an example out of him doesn't seem like a great player's coach to me. DLO takes a bad shot in the corner and JJ Reddicks has a complete titty attack. Are you kidding me? He has a complete titty attack on the sidelines. Did you guys see that? He's slamming his chair like a toddler with terrible 2 syndrome. I just want to show it to you guys. I'm not going to play the video because I don't want this to get blocked. But this is him. As you can see, this was him slamming his chair, acting a fool. Literally, like he had terrible 2s. I mean, he's just having complete temper tantrums like a child. Shams Charania reported that he broke several clipboards already. So he's breaking clipboards. We've already seen him ignoring Anthony Davis when he's begging to be taken out of the game after a tough fall or hit to the face. Does the team really love playing for him? Is the media machine working overtime to make JJ fit into this narrative that he's the best coach we've ever seen in 11 games? How can JJ Reddicks have all this basketball acumen, but makes the decision to bench D'Angelo Russell for effort, mind you, in order to play Bronny James? How does that make sense at all? Bronny is not good at offense or defense, and he can sit up there discussing effort and decision making. Bronny has no business being in the game over any NBA player. Doug Gottlieb had some comments that actually made sense. So let's hear what he had to say.
Post game, you have JJ Reddicks being critical of D'Angelo Russell.
Again, just level of compete, attention to detail, some of the things I've talked with him about for a couple of weeks, and at times he's been really good with that stuff, and other times, it's just reverting back to certain habits. But it wasn't like a punishment. It just felt like for us to have a chance to win this game, that was the route we wanted to take.
Yeah, so he played Gabe Vincent a whole heck of a lot more. Here's the issue, okay? And I know that Gabe Vincent really did replace D'Angelo Russell, and I get that you gotta lay down the law in terms of how hard guys play. You got to be willing to sit guys, lose a game in November to win a game at the end of the year. Understand all that. Nothing wrong with it. I will point out that Bronny James played in the game. He played, I think, the last 4 minutes of the game. Here's where it's a little bit at issue. And I don't know the inner workings of the Lakers with this group. I'm not as close to this coaching staff as I was previous coaching staffs. But I can tell you that I'm a human being, and I've been on teams, and I've also been a coach's son. And I've had my brother's coached on a team where you had multiple coaches' sons. And I know that Bronny James is not his son, but LeBron James is a kind of de facto assistant coach, or maybe even the co-head coach. And you're playing Bronny James, and he clearly isn't an NBA player. Should be in the G League, and he's not. He's going to the G League, and we keep kind of throwing him in there. Like, I get it. They swung and missed on Maxwell Lewis. They swung and missed on Jalen Hood-Schifino. But they're way ahead of Bronny James. And it's one thing to take my minutes and give them to Gabe Vincent, who started on a team that went to the NBA Finals. Whole other thing to give it to Bronny James, who doesn't belong on an NBA team. And it's not just me saying that. I'm telling you how all the NBA players I've talked to and NBA coaches I've talked to view it. That's where you run into trouble. It's not in what JJ's doing. What JJ's doing with D'Angelo Russell, like D'Angelo Russell he's let them down the past couple of years. I had no idea why they re-signed him. But playing Bronny instead of him, now you're contradicting yourself. We're playing to win, do the right things, and you're going to go Bronny James, who's just not an NBA player at this point.
You heard it. Bronny James is just not an NBA player at this point. This isn't rocket science, but my guy Tika TV, he sarcastically refers to JJ as Socrates. And I love the nickname personally. If he's so smart, then why the hell is he putting Bronny James in the game? If you just want to win, it's such a big contradiction. So with all that said, guys, I'm going to give JJ Reddicks an F, and that stands for fake. So the Lakers' results, in my opinion, are fake. Are they truly a 6th seed? Are they truly even winning games? Would they be winning games if the NBA wasn't helping them cheat via the officiating at home and on the road? That's why the grade is an F. The Lakers have shown that they continue to receive phantom foul calls, especially down the stretch. I don't believe in this team that, that when they can just get blown out at will, they can't defend, they can't shoot. I just don't believe that JJ's coaching is even real. Why doesn't his face get red when he sees LeBron standing around on defense and offense? His passion and reactions are fake to me. Grade F for fake. JJ is a big phony, and he will continue to get exposed. His temper tantrums don't fool me or anyone on this team. I believe that the temper tantrums come from the stress of being the head coach of the Lakers and being worried about how he's perceived, being worried about the grade that he's going to get for his coaching, and the fact that he doesn't have any experience. And he has to now live up to all of the hype that the media is putting on him. He's the smartest. He's the best coach we've ever seen. He's the next Pat Riley. He's the player's coach. He's this, he's that, all these things, right? So he has to find a way to live up to that. But like I said, the temper tantrums, they don't fool me. And I don't think they fool anyone on his team. That's why the assistant coaches, they were completely unfazed by his childish antics on the sidelines. They didn't even flinch or care. They know it's all fake. After the game, obviously he spoke with the press and he did this whole mic drop when he was asked how he was going to motivate the Lakers to give more effort. All that was fake. There's a variety of people that can't wait to see this blow up in everyone's face, and I'm one of them. Okay, I'm on the Lakers' ass all season long. The egg on LeBron and the organization's face is going to be very satisfying. By the end of the season, the F will be for failure, not just for fake, but F for failure. Because if they don't win the in-season tournament, if they don't make the Western Conference Finals or the finals this year, it's an F for me. It's a fail.